So the thing I find weird, and I always say this, is I believe that there's more evidence that was ignored than they found on the person that's rotting away in prison awaiting trial. I'll give you a great example. The cell phone that the family wants of Kaylee's. And the reason I think this is interesting is because Kaylee's family had to correct the police and the investigators, even though they had every advantage and ability to give correct information in regards to times about their whereabouts. So they were creating a narrative and couldn't do it because Kaylee's family were that on the ball. They tried to lie about the times that they were leaving the grub truck and walking around and were seen on camera. They said a time, that wasn't the time. Then they tried to lie about when Maddie and Kaylee got dropped off at the King Roadhouse. And that had to be corrected. And the sister, Avia, God bless her, was way more magnanimous than I would ever be. Because if you have a team of people working on this and they are so completely retarded that they can't even get the time right, but you, as a caring sister sleuth, have to let them know, that means, like, most egotistical people who are doing something wrong thought that they could get away with it, nobody would notice. But guess what? Their family noticed, and you had to correct that time frame. And you had to correct it again when it didn't work out to your liking for some reason, when you kept saying 2, they kept placing the crimes between 2 and 3. Not 3:25 to 4, or not or 4 to 4:25, excuse me. It was 2 to 3. 2 to 3. And then that changed. There was no reason except for the fact that you realized you could pin it on somebody. Then the time frame changed. But the time frame changed when you also had her family pointed out to you because you thought nobody would notice. Not because you're stupid. You can read a surveillance clock. And then there's the other obvious fact. The clearing of people. We were told they were so frozen that they just went back in their rooms, didn't smell death everywhere, and so frozen they couldn't call the police. So frozen to the point that they just, scurried out of their rooms, and they were worried about them, so they called friends over instead of just knock, knock. Hey, are you okay? There's blood dripping out of the house, but you somehow miss the fact that they're unalived. The 2 of them. Supposedly. Allegedly. Okay, I want to see, where are the investigations on all the people that showed up at the house? Where are the DNA samples of where those prints are from those kids that were all up in the house for God knows how long? Where are those Snapchats? Where are those text conversations? How long were those conversations? Minutes? Longer? What? Not asleep? Asleep? Not asleep? It just defies logic. And so you're sitting here with the police department with a bunch of kids who were on the scene, and yet, bye for Thanksgiving, and we'll get back to you in a few months with somebody who has no knowledge of these kids. None. No ties, essentially, except for maybe Ruggs. Maybe somebody he knew them. But not much to go on there. And then one of my favorites, the photos and videos of the investigators going through the house and taking shit out. I'm sorry, they grilled Chris Darden and Marcia Clark and their investigative team and the forensic team that surrounded the DA for that crime O.J. Simpson committed and supposedly killed his wife. And the waiter, Ron Goldman, like a fine-tooth comb. One little fuck up put that whole that whole trial in jeopardy. So, did anybody see the pictures of that scene? Booties on sometimes, 1, 2, maybe none. Gloves sometimes, 1, 2, maybe none. Just taking shit out like moving day. And I've said it previously in my videos. What the fuck is that? And that was even before there was a suspect in custody. So it's not like somebody on the defense of Brian Kohberger can go over there and mull it over and take their own samples. No, they cleared house. So you're missing half the scene because half the shit left the house. And then where are the sign-in sheets and everything else for what was touched, when it was touched, who touched it? Do you know how that OJ trial went? And this was even the dawn of DNA evidence and forensics. It was the early to mid-90s of when this started to become more of a well-known process in murder trials in regards to forensics. And that was mulled over better than anything that I saw. You have no idea how insane that scene looked to me. There are people it looked like a tailgate at times, like a Bills tailgate. Oh, we just pulled up to the lot. Here's some fucking crap that we're pushing into the trunk, taking off our gloves, taking some stuff out, putting some stuff in. Who cares? We care. This is fucked up. So, and then in regards to all of that going on, they still didn't seal off the backyard. It took, let me see, I think it was Martha McCallum from Fox News to point out why is the line of the crime only in the vicinity of that like deck area, not going up the hill, even though it's right on the hill. And then they moved the line back once the news started to ask some questions more and more. So the pressure had to build for you guys to pretend to look for shit. And you still didn't find anything. You know, OJ's blood was everywhere. OJ's blood, you know, drip dropping in the car. Oh, glove by the air conditioner. That's normal. I cut it on a glass that I threw. Oh, well, if he could get acquitted, then I'm sure Bryan Kohberger could be fine too. I mean, my God. But the point is, this just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. And interested to see with bated breath what the judge thinks of the results he was given for the IgG. And still waiting on where's the results for the rest of those samples. Only 2 unknown male DNA suspects in that party house when all those kids were in and out. Okay. I forgot my favorite in the OJ trial was when he said, oh yeah, it was a glass. Oh no, I was chipping golf balls. That's how I cut my hand. You should have seen his hand, by the way. If you don't know, Google image that shit. But OJ said he was chipping golf balls, and that's how he cut his hand. Bryan went to a doctor's appointment and had no cuts on his hand. And he supposedly unalived 4 people in under 20 minutes and left without a trace. In his car, home, driveway, anything. Seems normal. I'm wondering if it wasn't the press that might have caught a, I don't know, glance at any of this. What did the kids' hands look like who were there at the scene? Did any police decide to take pictures or photographs of their hands? Like OJ? I mean, they were there at the scene. They were unalived hours before. Did you take any pictures? Moscow PD?